It is very interesting. I'm very excited and passionate, and I live this holistic life that I'm trying to share with you. And that is why I'm so excited about it. I want you to benefit from it. I don't want you to think about food as far as being craving, just an answer to your cravings, or something convenient, or just something temporarily satisfying. I want you to feel satiated again. I don't want you to think about food all the time and where am I going to get my next fix of food. I felt like that for many years of my life because of this low-fat, whole grain kind of thing, having the bagel with the egg and the cheese, or or whatever. I used to make tons of those for my sons. And then, everybody was kind of always happy every 2 hours and trying to figure out, what are we going to do for food? What are we going to bring? And then you got cravings, and then you need it like right now. You don't feel good. You need it right now. I tell you what, when you clean up that diet and you put away the marketing and you put away the very confusing teaching, that's out there, and you just go back to eating whole foods, no, it is not as convenient. I'm not going to lie, it's not as convenient, but I'm going to tell you another thing. It's more satisfying for your body. You will definitely feel more satiated, and you're going to feel satisfied, and that feeling of satisfaction is going to carry for many, many hours throughout the day. Some of my clients eat 3 meals a day plus a couple snacks. Some of my clients eat breakfast and dinner and no snacks. Everybody is different. But they're able to determine what's right for their body because they have ditched this frankenfood industry and marketing and attempting one more magic pill after another. They've ditched all that. And they've come to this place of freedom that I experience every day, most of my clients experience every day, that I would like you to experience it. Absolutely awesome. When you have a metabolism that is flexible and working really, really well, what happens if you go to San Francisco and you say, I'm going to have that sourdough bread bowl that is made out of refined grains that have been bleached and deodorized and sprayed and everything else, and it has been fermented, and it is in San Francisco at this Boudini favorite famous, and it is going to be maybe clams or seafood that came right out of the bay. Something, have it. It's not going to be one more grain of sand on one more block on your Jenga tower that is stripped and depleted of nutrients. Your metabolism is going to attack that sourdough bread bowl, and you're not going to feel sick. You're not going to feel bloated. You're not going to feel sluggish. You're not going to have a food hangover, and you're not going to feel shameful for going out and eating it. That's lifestyle, my friends. That's something that you can deal with instead of saying, well, I'm just going to have to stay on these pills for a little bit longer, or where's my shakes? I want to make sure that I have these shakes. Let me stop and talk a little bit about shakes. There are good shakes and there are bad shakes, and there are a lot in between. Most of what I have found is crap. Body by Vi and Shakeology, and I can name so many of them, and they're simply marketing to the despotism of especially women and athletes. They're using, GMO proteins or what, just weird ingredients and sweeteners and everything in it. My husband's a shake guy, so I make sure that he doesn't want to just have breakfast in the morning, but he does know that he's not going to eat until dinner. It's just, it's in his nature. It's just how his metabolism works and what he prefers, but it's also how his work day goes. Even if he did want to eat, he doesn't have the type of work day and work environment that he can just go take a half hour or hour lunch. So he does have his fat-fueled coffee in the morning, and he has a shake. Right now, the shake that I mostly support is the Garden of Life shake, and they have a variety of ones. We get them at our local health food store. I also get them off of the online market, Thrive Market, if I'm in a pinch. I do price shop a little bit, but he has it with some super high quality milk in the morning, and that takes him through all day because he has his fats in his shakes. Personally, I don't partake in that. There's some ingredients in there that no longer agree with me, or I agree with them as a whole. So I don't have a problem ditching the shake. It's a great option for our 14-year-old son. He can wake up in the morning and make a nice shake, sometimes out of almond milk, sometimes out of the good quality whole milk that we buy. So the convenience issue can be remedied in finding a good product if you must have one, like the Garden of Life is kind of who I support right now. There's a couple other brands that I can talk about in the future. And also, of course, just eating a healthier diet that leaves you satiated, which just means satisfied, because my hormones that regulate my appetite, they're balanced. They're balanced. My body is burning the fat that I consume. I just had a couple pieces of bacon with my eggs. I threw in a little bit of butter on it, and I had my broccoli, and I just had a delicious breakfast post-training, of course. And my body is going to tackle that. I don't have high cholesterol, but I tell you what, taking my high cholesterol clients and putting them on a healthy, higher fat, lower carbohydrate, moderate protein diet does turn their cholesterol around without any side effects. Any side effects. It's not marketing. It's not magical. It's science. I love me some science. Science is pretty cool. Science is going to help you determine whether or not you are in a health crisis. When you go down and you get that blood work done, you're doing your physical, you're just not feeling well, and you've decided, you know what, I've been blaming this on age or whatever, I just got to go check out, what it is. Science is what tells you that your cholesterol is high in that lab draw, right? Science is what is telling you just have too much fat in your blood, too much sugar in your blood. Yellow flags, prediabetes, elevated cholesterol. Don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about total cholesterol. Most of us are aware of HDL and LDL. The good cholesterol, we like to call it, should be fairly high, and your low cholesterol, the LDL, the bad guys, should be very low. We have learned over the years that it's really not just looking at your total cholesterol, it's looking at the ratio of your good guys to your bad guys. Right? You want to have a lot of good guys in the neighborhood that is going to sweep the bad guys out of those arteries. And if that is happening, then your cholesterol levels are going to be safe, and your risk of strokes and heart attack is going to be relatively low. Well, I've got to tell you, if you have a lot of sugar in your blood, if you are pre-diabetic, if you are eating too many carbohydrates, especially refined carbohydrates, if you are consuming these like high fructose corn syrup and these toxins, this is all going to mess with your heart health. And it's going to be nearly impossible to get you righted. And I tell you what, there was a study done, maybe I won't quote it, because I think I want to quote it and put it in detail and give credit where credit is due. I'm going to talk about that later. A shocking research project that I recently learned about having to do with statins. I'll share that in a future episode. But do me a favor, folks. Don't ignore the yellow flags. I talk to my clients every day about being intuitive with their bodies. And I'm not just talking about food journals and sleep journals. I'm also talking about the moods and your anxiety and your stress levels, because it all plays a part in your health. The red flags really scare me. The people that walk in my door with diabetes or cancer or already firmly established chronic illness or disease. We do a lot of wonderful things here to help them out, and the goal is always reversal and restoral. Why not? I mean, I've seen it done. I have seen people get off blood pressure medication. I've seen people get off their PPIs, like their Zantac, their Omeprazole, their Prilosec, and all those. I've seen this. I've seen people get off cholesterol medication, and I've seen people go from taking the metformin diabetes medication to test, just being watchful and testing their blood every once in a while. How does this happen? It happens because my students are not on diets. They are experiencing lifestyle changes. We get their mindset right, and there's education. Like you're listening to this right now, the education. They eat a nutrient-dense, clean diet, staying away from those frankenfoods that we've been talking about earlier. They move, they lift weights, they walk, they go to chiropractors and make sure that they're properly aligned and making sure that they're staying on top of their physical stress in their body. Not too much, but not too little. Especially like we've talked about how we just don't labor like we used to, and we're not outside as much as we used to. I get my clients outside. Helps you rest your brain, rest your body, being around nature. Some people do it. I know I do it as often as I can without my shoes on. We're like electrical creatures. Our heart, when it stops beating, what do? They grab something, bam, they restart it. They jumpstart our heart electrically. Our earth has a charge. We have a charge. Walking on our earth is good for us, and it helps with stress management. And of course, staying hydrated. Drink. I cannot tell you how funny it is to think about that there was actually a time when our FDA was agreeing with the Coca-Cola company and saying, yes, a Coke a day is actually good for your health. Oh my gosh, what that has done to, I would say, 3 generations. And of course, we pass off these genes and these changes in our body. We pass these off to our children, who pass them off to our grandchildren. In my family, eczema, skin eruptions, and asthma and seasonal allergies are something that we like to pass to each other. And I've got to say, with making dietary changes, I no longer have any of those issues. I suffered with hypoglycemia, meaning my blood sugars would dip too low. Because guess what? I needed to eat every couple hours on my low-fat, whole grain, higher carbohydrate diet that both my parents, that's what everybody was doing, especially in the 70s and 80s. And even as I got to be an adult, I was still, my blood sugar's getting low. I would go literally and make myself a piece of toast. So go to the kitchen and stuff bread in my mouth. There was a reason why that was happening when I would wake up feeling like I call it the throw-ups. My body was depleted and it needed sugar, a quick form of energy, glucose. It needed it fast because it wasn't going to go to my fat stores and burn for some energy. So that's what you need to do. You need to go to your fat. How are you going to go to your fat? You're going to need to starve your body out of all of those carbohydrates that you have been consuming. You're going to need to cut those down. Now, women that just go from eating 4, 5, 6, 7, 800, 1,000 grams of carbohydrate a day, I have not had good experience in witnessing these women or any woman just go down to, say, like a strict keto, maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 grams of carbs a day. Boom. They call the keto flu, for example, headaches, your body hurts, you're just so dehydrated, you can't sleep, just terrible situations. My clients don't go through any of that. I'm not talking about doing anything drastic. And remember, I'm not talking about doing anything that is market driven. You cannot replace your pastry that you get every day with your coffee by ordering keto donuts. Right? That's not going to do it. We got to stay away from processed foods. Now, there are some healthy foods that are hitting the market now that they are finding ways to process them. They do have a shorter lifespan on your shelf. Yeah, food needs to rot for it to be actually, good, healthy food. Food that stays good for 6 years on your shelf. I don't think I want to consume that. But go back to that nutrient-dense, clean eating, understanding that it's not convenient, but it is very healthful for you. You can do a little bit of cooking over the weekend if you can,